to hear your expertise because it's so. I just not only take notes, but I rewrite those notes every time you speak. And so we're thrilled to have you on, and we're going to have a little celebration after Sunita finishes today. But Sunita, so glad to have you on, Dr. Sunita Punjabi, who, if you don't know, she's featured in two of my books that we've written because it was that impactful. And when she talked about how Art Williams' philosophies were in perfect sync with the research that he didn't even know what he was doing, and so that was very, very breathtaking, Sunita, when you brought that to light. In our message today, I think most people suffer from a lack of purpose. So talk about that, and kind of give us about a brief introduction about you for some of the people who have not had the privilege of meeting you or hearing you.
Sure.
And then we'll go from there. Dr. Sunita Punjabi, welcome.
Thank you so much. And Bill, it's such an honor to be part of anything that you're doing. So I was licensed counselor and getting my PhD. And my professor said, whatever you choose for your dissertation, you got to love it. You got to love it, and you got to be able to stick with it, because there's going to be times that you're going to want to quit. So I seriously thought about the best times in my life, and I still cry. I thought about the best times in my life, and it was part of being part of this company. And I thought, what was it that was there? One, I couldn't stop being excited about running on stage. I couldn't stop being excited about cheering my team on. The Lord had me working on neurology. I felt like, because I was told my brain was shrinking, and I did the research and I found out there's a cure and it's not true. And so then I felt like that's where the Lord had me. But when I was doing dissertation, the thing I loved was what this company stands for. And I thought about, what was it? And Art and his book, and I've actually had locker room conversations with Art. If you've never been in a room with Art, it's such a privilege. But Art, when I started researching cause-driven organizations, and I started researching what happens to the human mind. Sorry, that's a reminder to make sure I'm on here with you guys. What happens to the human mind, like neurologically, when there's a purpose? And because of Art, I started researching into purpose-driven companies, purpose-driven people, the purpose-driven brain at the level of neurology and science. I published, and a lot of people have used my research in academic settings and in the business world outside of Primerica. But I'll tell you what, and I've been asked to speak with different organizations, but I'm so loyal. If they're going to make me, brag about a company or direct anyone to a company, it would be Primerica. So what I found when I did the study was there's an 85% correlation between purpose in life engagement, and resilience. So I started on the neurological path and looked at, okay, what's the biology behind this? And now I have a clinic. We actually do brain training. And part of what I do is teach them how to find purpose. Now, there is a method that I've published, and believe it or not, it's in the adversities. And if you think about what Art would tell us, he said, tell him what, I think he said, pissed you off. He would say, tell him what bothered you, right? He was on the right track, you guys. I'm not kidding. Now, later on in my research, I call it connecting the goal getter, which is your emotions are stored here. This is where the action happens, right? This is where you're motivated to act. It's in the core. It's in the primal part of your brain. And I'm making this real simple. I'm generalizing. The goals that you have, like your vision, your desire to get a house or, boat or whatever. Those are up here. So what I found is that high achievers had connected the difficult moments with what they're doing today. So purpose-driven people. Now the research, let me show you, I can share my screen. Okay. Okay. So can you guys see, this is called the Purpose in Life test. It's a real test, and it has been proven reliable, which means that they've given it out to people. You can take it, it's online. You can do the Purpose in Life test. It's the pill. When I have a patient that comes into the clinic, I give them this because I know if they don't have purpose, they're more prone to be depressed. Their brain deteriorates earlier. There's a bunch of things I'm doing for our clients and our patients in nursing homes. We're writing books for people so they can remember when they're over 65 and 70, so they can remember their life has purpose. This is one of the books that one of our patients wrote. But knowing that you made a difference, knowing that you didn't just take up air. The other thing that happens is the grit factor. Okay, so I want you to understand first purpose. And if you're on purpose, you're going to become gritty. Now, can you have grit and purpose come later? Yeah, but I find that usually most people figure out their purpose. And again, there's a formula to it. And if I have to tell you the short version, it's in Art's book. And if you see Art's book, I've like bunny eared it, and I've got like notes. All this is Art, one of his books. And I'm telling you what, I wrote, my dissertation was led by the Bible and by Art's work. Understanding that what's inside of us is bigger than what's outside of us. That, by the way, that's quantum mechanics. But Art, what he did is he showed us how to become purpose-driven and gritty. Now, grit is a psychological phenomenon. Again, this is available on the internet. You can download it. It's kind of straightforward. You're going to find out if you're passionate, if you have conviction, if you can stay focused. It's a no-brainer, but how do you get to grit? Because it's the single largest indicator of human performance, more than IQ and socioeconomic situation or even education. So how does that happen? And I'm telling you, when Art would tell us, find out what pissed you off, he also would tell us to tell our story. And when he would tell us to tell our story, what we found is that it connects the goal setter and the goal getter. Every time you prospect, every time you recruit, and that's what happened. I'm an avid recruiter. If you guys know me, I mean, I think I hold the record personally in the city of San Antonio. I had 75 recruits 1 month. I was so mad with my team. I decided, you know what, I'm going to show you guys. So I went out there, recruited a ton of people. It was a great time. It was, but the point is, every time I recruited and I had to tell you why I do what I do, I was reselling myself. And what I was doing was I was attracting people. So Bill gave me a wonderful quote. Is there a way, Tony, we could put that quote up? Should I stop sharing? And I want to highlight a few points in the quote that Bill sent me. Purposeful people. There's something about devotion to an inward vision. So when something is inside of you, it's very hard to lose it because it's with you. It's who you be. It's not just what you do. I bleed Primerica. I know I'm a doctor and I've got this clinic, but I could pick up a presentation. I could do the Rule of 72 anytime again. And I be. It's just like you be mom or you be dad. So this was an inward vision when you have purpose, and it's who you be, not what you do. When you be something, the doing can change. So I was a recruiter, but I also did seminars. So being a teacher, but it was about who I be. I mean, I'm sorry, I was doing teaching, but I be Primerica. I be cause driven. I be liberating people from debt. That's what I stood for. Those are my values. So it's an inward vision. The greatest thing about it is you don't have to look anywhere. No one can take it away from you. You don't care what's happening outside because it's in you. It makes your heart, my heart would beat fast. That's how you know, right? It's inward. The intense desire, concentrated effort. The reason it's almost an obsession. If you look at any successful CEO or anyone, it's an obsession because there's a vision, there's a compelling internal reason that you're going to do concentrated effort. It's not working. When it's about who you be and you're purpose driven, it's not work. Now there was challenges. I hated picking up the phone as much as anybody else, but I did it for a bigger reason. So I've done this before a lot, how do you make a line smaller? Let me get my marker out. And I know this is like a really great analogy to, I should have had this ready. Okay. So you see a line on the paper. How do you make that line smaller without touching it? A lot of people say, well, move it farther away, move it closer away. I got a proper mark. So how do you make that line smaller without touching it? You put a bigger line next to it. When what you're going to is bigger than what you're going through, you're going to persevere. And this is resilience research right now. What resilience research is telling us, to be resilient, you've got to have this compelling vision. Does that sound familiar? Compelling reason. And you've got to almost be obsessed with it. Now, some of you think, well, I want a balanced life. I don't want to be obsessed about anything. And I've encountered that before. You don't understand. You were wired to be purpose driven. You were wired. So it's not going to go against your health to be obsessed. Now, you got to have life balance. I'm not saying you don't. But every minute when I was raising kids, when I was building the Primerica business, and what we did is we played hard and we worked hard. But I kept balance. So my kids went on every vacation the company had, every trip, because we were going to smell the roses, but I was going to take the roses with me as we were running. And I had no excuses. A lot of people didn't understand. As a mom, you don't cook dinner. I had a housekeeper, and I fought for her because I needed to be on kitchen table appointments at night. And I didn't apologize to anybody. And I did whatever I could to keep that housekeeper so she could cook and be there. I made sacrifices. I homeschooled the kids because at night I wanted to be at Primerica. So to get up early and to take them to school wasn't working. So I did things. And some of you may think, gosh, Sunita, Dr. Punjabi, that sounds a little obsessed. Yeah, I was. But it wasn't work. I even told the kids, I said, right now, mom and dad are going for a goal. And we put it on the refrigerator door and I included them. So that's a concentrated effort. When you believe it's your mission on earth. So another bit of research, the brain, you were created genetically in your DNA. And there's books. Born to Be Good is one of the books I would look up. But what we found is that in your DNA, you have a need for altruism. You're coded, just like hair color or body size, you're coded to know your life mattered. So if there's a need to serve, and Primerica fed that, it gave me that need, and I was building a business along the way. but I was filling a basic human need. So it became a mission very easily. If you look at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, Primerica allows us to meet all of the basic human needs. We need to know that we can pay our bills. We need to know, and if you're not paying your bills, then you're not working. So the first human need is to know that we've got food and shelter. The second human need is to feel belonging. The second human need is to feel, the next human need, we're going up the chain. The next one is to feel significant. The last human needs is self-actualization. Bill is living self-actualized. So many of our leaders in the company, they're being all that they could be. And you'll hear that. Coaches, you've got people from all walks of life. And this is where they became self-actualized. Now, can you become self-actualized as a pastor or as a coach? Most definitely. However, the other human needs are not as successfully met as in this company. So I was an avid recruiter, not because I needed to, but because I had to save the world. There's nothing else out there that would meet all of their human needs. It was cause. I was cause driven, not just for the company, I was cause driven for humanity. And that's why I'm still really passionate about doing this for Bill, because I got a job to do. I got to save you guys. And if I can help you, you can help others. And do you know how many people hate their jobs? 74% of the American workforce is disengaged. I said 74%. 15 out of the 74%, these are real statistics for the Department of CDC, Center for Human Disease. 15% of the 74 are actively sabotaging their work environment. You know, I have a clinic. We do well. We visit about 50 patients a day. I do some really cool stuff. But I tell you what, there's days that it's not the, it's, it, what I want to be part of Bill, to be part of David Lipset, to be part of Tony, you know, to be in that conversation with you guys. Guys, I don't have that here. I'm trying to get my team to become cause driven around this cause. We're saving brains, and it's really cool. But not everybody can do what I do. I can't give you PhD, but you can recruit people to getting a license. They can have what you have. I can't do that in my company. So I can't, I'm trying. I've actually started a profit sharing program because I wanted to emulate what Art gave us. So we have profit sharing, we have a 401k. We just launched it with Voya. If you guys know, that's one of our companies with Primerica. But I'm trying to duplicate it, and I'm going to fall short for sure, because it took, I'm not kidding, God's hand was on this company. When you know what had to happen to give you guys the privilege of RVP and ownership. That's not small. I know the story. If you don't ask, find out. But so when we look at this neurologically, when you're able to connect your daily activity with something bigger than yourself. Do you know where my brain is?
Your brain?
No, my little
It's in your head.
my little
The little one? This one?
yes, well no. Okay, but that's okay.
I don't know.
All right. So when you can, it's a little brain. Give me the big cow brain right there. It's a really good illustration. Okay, so this is not the size of your brain. The size of your brain is actually the size of a fist. But when you can connect what's in the mid part to the front, what you have is called midbrain activation. And you're actually increasing the chance of having happy neurotransmitters. So what we know is that, and this is also from the CDC, happiness is not pursued. It is ensued. And I'm quoting. So happiness, if you pursue happiness in and for itself, I want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. There's millions of books written on happiness. To be happy, you have to find a cause, because happiness is actually the result of an endeavor worthy of you. Those are two big pieces right there. An endeavor worthy of you. First of all, it's very natural because human beings don't like to get uncomfortable. If we do find a cause, it's something, it's going to get me uncomfortable, but it's not too bad. So we choose things that are not worthy. Art gave us an industry. Art gave us a quality of life that we could provide people. So talk about worthy. He gave us generational transfer of wealth. So when you can combine your daily activity to those things that are worthy, right, you're going to find that it's easier for you to build grit, for you to stay young, and it changes the neurotransmitters. And I'm telling you, I do brain maps all the time. And when I have a client and I'm talking to them about being on purpose and what brings joy to them and what their cause is. Now, in my seminars, I teach find what pisses you off and go fix it. That's what Art told us to do. Go fix it. And I tell people in all my classes, what bothered you? Now, in our classes, and I've done this before with you guys, some of you guys, and if I have not gotten to you, I apologize. The clinic is in a huge growth phase, and where I don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity. So I'm back in the game with seeing patients personally. But if you really want to know how to do it, I did a class and I will do it again. But if you write your timeline, and so look at when you were 0 age to now, you'll find a pattern. And they're in your life stories. And Art told us, tell your stories. When he would talk about what happened to his mom because of his father passing, every time he told that story, what it did is it connected, it ignited. And you're going to see, if you could see the electrical current, I've seen it. And it's going to keep you younger telling those stories. So what I tell you 3 stories, there might be more, there might be one that could really define you. What are those 3 critical stories? And there's a book by Simon Sinek that covers all this, called The Why, right? Finding Your Why. But you don't have to spend tons of money if you would just write down 3 pivotal stories that you feel they defined you, and find the right, the wrong and the right. What was wrong? And how did you write it? Like, how were you going to write it? Now, I deal a lot with trauma, and so a lot of veterans, and they would see horrific things in the battlefield. That was what was wrong. How did they write it? They came home and they took on a job where they helped people that were suffering, or they built a business. One of my veterans really liked providing security to the United States. So I took that wrong, which was war, and I helped him find what was right about it, which is security, and he turned that into his business. I did that all the time in Primerica. When I would recruit, part of the recruiting interview would be, what pisses you off? And I would help them translate that into something they could do with our company. Because I'm not kidding, this is not a better color of lipstick that we're selling. There's so many causes. Name anything that if you do an interview with a person and they tell you what matters to them or their values, name anything that I couldn't connect to what you do at Primerica. Righting a wrong, fighting for the poor, fighting for the underprivileged, fighting. And guess what? You're created to serve. Altruism. Remember, I told you the academic literature shows that when you are cause driven, when you're on fire for something and you're trying to right or wrong, you're going to be unstoppable. And that's where resilience comes in. But I really want to open up because I want to do some deep diving. The mysterious core is so powerful that you can make the remarkable appear ordinary. Because when you're on a mission, you're focused on where you're going, not what you're going through. So you're able to overcome some amazing odds, some crazy odds. I'm going to tell you, Primerica is one of the first companies that brought me to my knees in prayer because it was so big, it was so powerful that I had to make the remarkable happen. And I don't know about you, but I don't know that I'm able to make the remarkable happen by myself. So this stretched me. So I had to make the remarkable happen. And you will find your way. But first, you have to find the cause. You will not find the way until you find the why. The way will present itself. And when you know why. So at first, it was financial literacy to me. Oh my God. Because my parents were immigrants to this country, no financial advisors sat there down with them. And I would tell this story all day long in front of everybody that I would recruit or interview. It didn't matter to me if you didn't get recruited. I had to tell my story and I was fired up. So the next person I sat in front of, it happened by itself. You'd think I was crazy, but it spreads like wildfire. When you are cause driven, what you're doing is you're igniting midbrain communication. So remember, people make decisions from their midbrain, just like you do. Their emotions are here too. So when you talk about your why, you connect it with what you do. You are talking midbrain to midbrain communication. Animal instincts, everybody can get being oppressed. Everybody can understand having to live with less. So when you talk about your stories and what bothered you, you're connecting with them. And I'm going to tell you, so many people would tell me, I don't know what she does, but I want to be part of it. Because I was just going and going. I was so fired up. It's contagious. Midbrain to midbrain communication. Animal instinct is where they make the decision to do business with you. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. And with the passion, I promise you, the research is conclusive. You can, a lot of you think, I need to know all that. I need to know every mutual fund. I need to know what, No, you don't. No, you don't. I have a little small marketing team here for my clinic. And they're like, well, we need to learn about all the machines and we need to learn about how brain training works. No, you don't. Go do a treatment. Go feel your brain growing. Walking here when a wheelchair is in here and they're walking out not needing it. It doesn't matter what you know, right? People don't care about what you know till they know. What is it? Till they know how much you care. That's got to ooze through you. You guys are so many of you are hiding behind, I got to know it. That's not what moves people. If you're interested in making if you're interested in people working for you, then know all the stuff. If you want a team that's working with you, then they're bought in. They've bought into your vision. They've bought into the company vision. Yeah, and that's what's really cool. Another thing, I have to sell my vision to my team. With Primerica, we had the vision. I didn't have to create it. We had the stories. We had so many amazing people overcome amazing, ridiculous circumstances, like battle cancer and doing that. There's just too many stories if I get into that. So this transforms doubt. How does it transform doubt? One of the things is because you're focused on what you need to do, because you know why, the doubt goes away. The way, If you know your why, you can overcome any how or what. So doubt, like I can't pick up a phone. Well, I know what I wanted for my kids, and this company could provide it. I had a vision of Christmas. That was one of my first visions that I created, full of Christmas gifts under the tree. Primerica was the way I was going to do that, and Primerica would allow me to do that and serve at the same time and fill my basic human needs. It was all coming together. So it spreads like wildfire. You can transform doubt because you're so focused, you don't really notice the challenges. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be engaged. You've got to recruit. If there's one thing that I could tell you that will raise your purpose, it's talking to other people about your why. It's living your why. It's talking, and the way you live your why is you share it really becomes real because of language, and the brain fires that memory. So you got to work on it. You've got to be at KTAs, kitchen. I don't know if you still call it kitchen table appointments. That just, you know, even if I had a bad appointment and they didn't get it, I was just so fired up about, the next one or what I was going to say next time. So regardless of the sacrifice of the cost, and that just goes back to when you know why you're doing something, you can overcome any how or what. And that's resilience, back to resilience theory. So I want to stop sharing. Tony, if you could help me do that. So we've talked about biology of purpose. The biology of purpose is really trying to connect two core parts of your brain. If you're ever in San Antonio and you want to see it, it's really pretty amazing. You'll see an electrical current that travels, and it does increase the circulation of the entire brain. That's some of the biology. The other part of the biology is it's in you already. Your cause is in you. Primerica, by the way, is not the cause. It's how you fight it's the way you express your purpose. Did I say that right? Yeah. So Primerica's got the cause. It's not your purpose. It's how you live your purpose. So my cause, my fight was to liberate people from poverty. My fight was to give immigrants like myself, my family, a chance to have what the wealthy people had. Those are expressions. How I did it was Primerica was the vehicle. And if you see, there's other businesses out there, but I'm going to tell you, pound for pound, based on what the human brain needs, Primerica checks off all those boxes. It really does. Your need for significance, your need to know your life matters, your need for food and shelter, your need for connection. The hardest thing when I had to get divorced I got divorced. I didn't divorce the company, but that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of losing my relationship with people like Mike Tuttle, Omar in Florida. I was so afraid that they wouldn't talk to me anymore. And so when Bill reached out to me, you have no idea. It was the community that I had access to. You guys have no idea. When you go on those trips, I hope you win the trips. But even if you don't, when you're in a room with these people, you want that to rub off on you. It doesn't exist in business today. Not really. They can talk a big game, right? But at the end of the day, when you really dig deep and you're in their home office, they're not having conversations like our team, Primerica Home Office, is having. They're not having that. Bill is talking about building multimillionaires that can pass generational wealth. He did a whole talk on that. They're not talking about that. So I get very emotional, very passionate. So it's 12 o'clock. I want to make sure I answer questions, and then I got to give the room back to Bill. Because I know
Thank
Bill.
you. I love the fact that there's correlation between success and your why. And even though the numbers might not show you're as successful as, say, Mike Tuttle, you get a satisfaction of achieving. And a lot recruiting is almost nothing in Primerica anymore. Primerica, it was down 15% last month. People, it's an afterthought. It's financial advising now, and it's securities now, and people are off recruiting as their primary purpose. How do we get that back? If you were to say, here's what you've got to do to get your primary purpose of recruiting back, and why it's healthier for us if we did.
So if you're selfish, and I don't mind if you are, it is going to keep you younger, telling your story. Now, you have to understand, I didn't tell my story and say, do you want to join? I would tell them the story, and then I'd say, this would be a good fit for what you shared. I would find out what values they had, and I showed them how they could live in and fulfill that in Primerica. But when I shared their values, I connected with my values. So recruiting is healthier for your brain. How do we get back to a recruiting mindset? Just really understand the big cause. The big cause is giving someone, a single mom, a chance to get a license. I don't know if you guys, when I was active, there's companies like in my city, USAA, there's different companies. I'm not going to mention names, but you have to sign a contract to get a license. And if you leave the company during some time, they want all the money they invested in you back. Primerica allows people to get licenses without limits that I know of, unless something has changed. Do you understand you can help people get a marketable license? And without you, they don't have that. They can still keep their jobs while they're getting licensed and educated. So they have a plan B. For their mental health, I've had so many people I recruited that would tell me, just to know that I have a plan B when my boss yells at me or when they demean me. So the reason you want to recruit is because that's the big cause. If you're not talking to them about this opportunity, they're paying money to join, to buy some vitamin thing or something. So for goodness sake, for the sanity of people, recruit. They may not become millionaires. They may become, the 80%ers. And they'll show up just to feel, so many people want to be part of something big. And if you recruit them, and that's what they do, they show up with the cake. They show up early to the meeting and turn the coffee on. But that's the world for them. I don't know if you guys understand how much people want to belong, especially right now after COVID, and we're so isolated and we feel so alone. I would recruit a lot of people just so they could feel a sense of belonging. I knew they didn't really have the work ethic yet, but I figured if they were a part of something and they felt belonging, that eventually all the rest of it would happen. So, really, the way to recruit is to really understand the bigger cause. And if you can't, and that's to save the workforce. If you can't get that, then do it because it's good for you. Do it because you deserve to tell your story. Everybody has one story to share. I'm telling you, the way I got to recruiting was to know that if I didn't talk to them, someone else would, and it was going to be probably something that, because people are desperate. They're really desperate for money, belonging, significance, purpose.
Comment on this. When you were in a business, everything was about recruiting. Everything. We had nothing else. And it's all you thought about. Woke up in the morning thinking about sleeping, eating. It's all you thought about. How did that focus strengthen you? And what can we learn from that? Because our company today is like a grocery store. We got everything. And we didn't have anything back then except term insurance, Sunito.
Yeah. The way and that's kind of the danger, right? Is to get lost in all the pretty toys and all the cute little solutions. But if you're not recruiting, you're not teaching them how to fish. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the analogy, right? If you're just selling a product and you're getting them to invest, that's good. It's really great. And you should do that every time. But if you're not giving them a chance to get what you've got, then I say shame on you. But it's just the right thing to do. You know you're selling, and even if a lot of the clients are like, "Oh, you're always trying to recruit me," but they would buy anyway. But I focused on, you need to be part of this. I think you're amazing. Ha ha ha, all the way to the bank. Like I was, but the focus was how amazing they were and how they needed to be a part of this. They did business with me anyway. Because I focused on them and how they could do something here. Business happened. And you'll find it's a better conversation. The reason you guys, some of you don't see it what I see, in the sense of I would recruit first and sell second, was because maybe you've affiliated this with something that's recruiting. They're going to get recruited. Just understand. They're being recruited all the time. But what you're recruiting to them is real. It's legit. It's proven. 49 years. Are you kidding me? There's no company that I know has more millionaires than this company. And it's doing the right thing. We're not selling some vitamin, this is financial independence. This is a chance to have ownership. This is a chance to will a business to their kids, to build something as an inheritance. So, I mean, I know it sounds like I'm on a soapbox, but if you're not recruiting, you're not really offering them the best of what they can get. And you'll get clients by default. It'll happen. And they're going to say, gosh, that Sunita, she just thinks, I don't know, she sees something in me. And every once in a while, when I'm doing their accounts or managing their, I didn't do a lot of the securities. It was my ex-husband. But when you would revisit them, and I would just plug them in. That's what you guys don't understand. You think you're in a business, you're in a movement. So what I would do is I would bring my clients to the op meeting that we would have, or the seminar we were doing for women. I would bring them. I would recruit people to teach the seminar. They became clients anyway. One of the ways I recruited was I would teach financial literacy, and I said, "You want to know what I do? Come to this." And she was inspired by watching me talk to a room. She became a client. And she also became a recruit. So did her husband. But it's really refocusing on the main thing. And everything happens anyway. Now, if you're recruiting and they're like, please stop, I don't want to be part of that, okay, gotcha. So let's do business. All right. But if you can make them feel special and tell them how a company like ours needs people like them, if you can learn the edification, how to edify just a little bit, if you can find something special about that person, you're still going to get a loyal client. They're going to be more loyal to you. But keep them if they're a client of yours, keep them on that. Keep them in your mind for when they hate their job. And I would recruit them then. But you're always going to be recruiting. You're always talking about their best life. And mutual funds and investments and all the stuff that we do is really cool. I know we've added a lot of products to the company. But at the end of the day, they don't have what you have. They don't have a chance. They don't have something they can. I wanted my children to work with the company. People are doing jobs that they would not want their kids to do. I wanted my kids around Primerica people, all as much as I could. And my kids still remember and adore some of the names that I mentioned to them all the time. My son is sitting outside my door. He's actually working for our company now. But when I tell him I'm doing something for Bill, wow, cool. So I don't think you're living your best life if you don't talk about giving this opportunity to other people. I think you're missing it. It's the only way I wanted to build this business. I did business by default. Does that make sense? It's going to happen anyway because they're part of you. They're part of your movement. They're coming to your op meeting. Because why? Because they're part of something that's righting a wrong, right? I never talked about how they could sell mutual funds. I talked about getting a license, right? Which is low-hanging fruit, right? Get the education, get the mark. You've got a license you can do something with. That's low-hanging fruit. But then I talked to them about being part of something, even if it was just part-time, even if their boss yelled at them and they knew they had something else. If that's all they got, I'm good. And I would recruit them to that. I would talk to them about 10 years from now. Do you still want to be doing what you're doing? So, I mean, recruiting was the focus because I understood people are trapped. And if I don't at least put it on the table, they'll never even know. So if you really get in touch, just go outside and look at people. Go to Walmart and look at the teller there. Just stop for a minute and look at what's around you. And what opportunity do they have to get out? None. Nothing real. Most people don't have the skill, the business fortitude, the money. So for the American public to be better off in general, I want in 10 years to see more licensed Primerica people happy. If you ever go to a company retreat, the people in the elevator, you know who's Primerica, you know who's not. It's just that simple. They're just happier people. They got a plan, they got a life, they got vision, they got a compelling reason, they got a cause, all their needs are being met. Just stop for a minute and look outside. Just look at people and wonder, if not me, then how, then who? What else are they going to do? I think I just love people. I think a lot of you love people. You wouldn't be doing this. I think if you've dismissed recruiting, it's because it's this black ominous cloud and you've affiliated it. Reframe is a word we use in psychology. So you're going to take your story that you have about recruiting and reframe it as I'm asking you to do. And the simplest thing is just stand outside and look at people. Go to HB. Look at your kids. Do they love their jobs? Do you want them to keep doing those jobs? Is there any hope for the youth today to own their own business, to call their own shots? No. So reframing maybe need to happen, Bill, where we change the analogy. And anyway, if you guys, I want you to make money. I want you to sell a ton of services and products. And we did. We were solid premium producers at that time, right? Loans and premium and investments. We still did it. We were number one. We were one of the top producers. We're doing about 50,000 conservatively. I don't know if those numbers still make sense. A month in premium. We still did that. But it was a second thing. Now, if you're not a recruiter, find a recruiter. Because my husband, God bless him, at that time, was not a big recruiter. But I think he got it was contagious. from me. So if you're not a recruiter, find a recruiter and let it get contagious. Find someone in your team, get them in front of someone like me, or a recruiter, and or get them to understand Art's story. Get them to understand the story of the company. If they're recruiters, they're probably already easy to excite about a cause. They're already recruiting. They're recruiting to the next movie, the best restaurant, whatever. So that's what I would do. Is that helpful, Bill?
Oh man, thank you very much, Sunita. I'm going to let you go because you've got appointments today, and I don't. And that's what I'm grateful for. But thank you very much, Sunita. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 12. And I treasure every word you said because it's meaning and purpose. And if the people get in that, and Primerica is just the way we make our money. But bringing people, reaching down and giving people a purpose. We weren't born the day we weren't there the day they were born, but we could be there the day their purpose is born in them.
Oh, yeah. And you know what's really cool is if you look at the dominant, there's about 9 in all languages in all countries, common purposes. Every single one of them can be met in this company. There's not a single purpose that can't be fulfilled. So whatever it is for them, help them find it, right?
Where can we get that? Those 9 purposes? Where can we get those 9 purposes?
I'll find it for you. It's not in commonly available academic literature, but I'll research it. And what it is in every language, we've found these 9. Now, remember, though, the most common fear is I'm not good enough. And the most common purpose is to know that your life mattered. That's the biggest one. But I'll find that for you, Bill. And it's based around Abraham Maslow's human needs. So let me look for those.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're going to let you go back to your business, and what a treasure you are. And I just love, I'm going to give you a call about the next book and helping me get another chapter from you, because this is critical.
I have to tell you, I don't know you guys, but whatever your names and whatever you're doing, I have respect for you. If someone was to come to my office and tell me they were part of what you guys are doing, it would be an automatic, come on in. Let me give you a free brain map. So anyway, thank you. Honored to be part of this.
Sunita, for sharing your life and your thousands upon thousands of hours of work that validates everything we do and how we feel, and we're not crazy. We can't help but do what we do. Thank you very much, Sunita. This has been powerful. And Tony, tell us how we can get a copy of this.
If I'll put in the chat, but if you email orender.downloads@gmail.com. It is orender.downloads@gmail.com. I will send you a link as soon as it's ready for you to be able to rewatch this, because this was epic. Thank you, Dr. Punjabi. Thank you. And please send it to me from your private email, not your primary.
Get a copy.
Yep.
For
Thank you.
Your
Bill,
legacy.
is there anything else?
That's it. Thank you very much. I'll let you go back to your clinic. Thank you very much, Dr. Punjabi. Thank you. All right, Tony, we've got about 5 minutes to celebrate a little bit. By the way, if you're interested in more of this, I'm going to, on Saturday, go through my definite major purpose statement that I say continually. It rewires my brain every time I say it. And I'm going to go through it. Some of you have seen it before, but I'm going to go through it this Saturday at our Saturday training. If you want to be on it, it's the same Zoom channel. But Tony, why don't we go through a couple of those pictures? You know, our life got changed when this all was, when the world started agreeing that we had something. When Art was on the Saturday Evening Post, that was huge. Tony, the next one. I'm just going to go through these pictures. If I've stored them and just kind of threw them fast. Here's a article about Art Williams leaving his football team. And in Kedrick High School, when he quit the football team to go work full time for ITT Financial Services. Tony, that's a young Art Williams right there back in the day. Of course, this was Benita Van Caspel's book, Money Dynamics, and this is the chapter that we pulled out. She let us use about the difference between whole life insurance, and term. We use this like crazy to open the door for people to convert from whole life insurance to term. Next one. Again, this is Virginia Carter and her team at Santa Robato. On her left and on her right is Bev Robato. If anyone from Detroit knows this, this is your heritage. Gene Dickhouse, the guy with the mustache, he's the one that recruited Dan Gunas. And Larry Sternberg up to the right, the other mustachioed guy, he passed away several years ago. He overrode, his family still does, Jerry Beyer. Next one. All you can do is all you can do. This was historic. Again, 10 years of greatness. When we celebrated, that was 39 years ago. Next one. Art, one of my favorite photos of Art. That's why we had it on the Art Williams Phenomenon. Tony, can you just keep going through them? Here's the Federal Trade Commission report from 1979, but it was updated in 1992, talking about how life insurance right there is a shell game. Produce and results, consumers get a raw deal. This is from the Federal Trade Commission. Next one. This was the 10th anniversary of our company. We had a little bulletin come out, the original 7 RVPs, plus all the original 7, plus the woman on the right. There's Trudy White, Art's first secretary. Great story about her. Of course, the original 7 RVPs. And then Bullet Bob Turley really brought a lot of credibility. Won a most valuable player in the World Series, was the best athlete of the year in the world in 1958. And so that was critical in what it meant. He's been highlighted in several of my books. This is when our company, 1985, started building their own home office. That was huge. There's Virginia Carter, Tracy Beyer on the right, and behind. Go ahead. When we actually, you believe that? 8 years after we started, we built our own home office. This was the famous train trip with Andy Young when we were in Austria. And anyway, in this wonderful, it's great photo. The guy in the middle with the watch, Steve Little, he screwed up and left the company before it exploded. And I don't think he even knows what he left behind. Next one. Another photo of Art back in the day at Boca Raton, one of the famous places that still holds a special place in our heart because it was the first place when we finally felt we were on our way. Next one. Because Art and Angela, they'll both be 84 in April. Next one. And by the way, her mother and father weren't crazy about him being in this business. They didn't want him to give great coaching and like most parents, of course, this is a great photo of Art. And I'm going to make sure we don't take that might be a good one for our next book cover right there. That might be good. All right, next one. Oh, it's a great photo. Forget. Here's Art and all the art isms, A. Williams glossary of terms. And he loved that scooter. He ran around the world in that little red scooter. Next one. Of course, this is the book that turned it all. This was The Mortality Merchants. First book I read that says whole life insurance was a scam. Next one, please. Art Burgess. He was in my bake shop, came in RVP. He was the man that coined the name A.L. Williams. In my home, he's the one that said, Art, what we're going to call this company? And Art said, I don't care. And he said, how about A.L. Williams? And he was the first one that did it. And I think that's it, right? All right, everyone. Well, again, we're going to celebrate some more tonight on our opportunity meeting at 7 o'clock Central Time. If you want to do more of your definite major purpose statement, I'm going to go through in detail, word for word, why I wrote the definite major purpose statement. It took me months and months and months to create. Tony, thanks for all your help, and God bless, and we'll see you next week, okay? All right, bye-bye.
Recording stopped.